making a waste-free future happen together. Your partner for change. CalRecycle is advancing world-leading reforms to cut waste and build circular use systems for all materials. Join California's climate fight and shift to a circular use economy. CalRecycle's monthly public meeting starts now.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this rainy February day. It's great to see so many people here. All right, so Mindy's out today, so I'm doing the welcome piece. Let me make sure I say all the things I'm supposed to say. Okay, we will briefly pause after each agenda item to give our live Spanish language interpreters time to relay information. But before we dive in, here's a brief message.
Thank you, Zoe. A reminder, we will be taking live public comments throughout the meeting. Please raise your hand in Zoom or call in now if you have comments on the upcoming items, including the Director's Report, Packaging and Textile Producer Responsibility Updates, Grants and Loans, and Beverage Container Recycling Program Updates. Now back to Director Heller for the Director's Report.
All right, Director's Report, here we go. Okay, on Friday, we published California's first zero waste plan on our website, so we're very excited about that. And a huge thank you to everybody who's engaged over the last couple of years on the development of our plan. The plan outlines steps and actions California can take to eliminate waste, keep materials in use, and address cost and pollution burdens in our communities. The plan also quantifies the benefits of these actions, which include $411 billion in economic potential, over 500,000 new jobs, and $11 billion in avoided health and environmental costs. The plan's 15 recommendations in 8 categories you see here are based on a new materials management hierarchy that prioritizes upstream refuse and source reduction, rethinking design, and all those kinds of important steps to take before generating waste. So we're excited to start strategizing with you all on action items. You know, we've had some discussions at this meeting on the importance of making sure plans like this are not shelved, but instead used to guide what we do in the future. So we'll have a more robust presentation at our public meeting next month and look forward to discussing next steps to achieve our shared goals. All right, before we get started, I also wanted to mention that our new enforcement, certification, and registration data for the Beverage Container Recycling Program is published and linked to today's agenda. And I'm going to turn it over to our Deputy Director for the Division of Circular Economy, Michelle Martin.
Thanks, Zoe. Good morning, everybody. CalRecycle held a 15-day comment period on the proposed regulations for SB 54 January 29th through last Friday, February 13th. Thanks to everybody who submitted comments. They're currently being reviewed. And for more information, you can visit CalRecycle's SB 54 rulemaking webpage. The Packaging Producer Responsibility Advisory Board will not be meeting this month. The next meeting is scheduled for March 20th here at the CalEPA headquarters building. And today, CalRecycle launched the solicitation process for 8 advisory board seats for those members whose terms expire on June 30th of this year. Applications will be accepted through April 2nd, and a listserv will be sent out with more application information. And for more information, please visit the Packaging Producer Responsibility Advisory Board webpage. Next, the Responsible Textile Recovery Act requires producers of covered textile articles and apparel to form and join a producer responsibility organization, or PRO. The applications to become the textile PRO were due to CalRecycle by January 1st, and 3 organizations applied: Circular Textile Alliance, Landbell USA Incorporated, and Textile Renewal Alliance. CalRecycle is reviewing these applications and will approve 1 PRO by March 1st. The decision will be presented at CalRecycle's March public monthly meeting, and producers will have until July 1st to join the PRO approved by the department. CalRecycle is holding an informational workshop on April 7th to provide an overview of the needs assessment requirements described in the Responsible Textile Recovery Act. Interested parties can participate in person here at the CalEPA headquarters building, or register to join on Zoom, or check out the live stream. More information, including An agenda and Zoom registration link can be found through the public notice in today's agenda. And for implementation status, you can sign up for the listserv that's available on CalRecycle's website. And next, Branch Chief Lauren Barva now joins us with grant program announcements.
Thank you, Michelle. Can you hear me? There it goes. Okay, so CalRecycle's Waste Tire Cleanup Grant Program has $1.5 million available for the 2026-27 fiscal year. Funds can be used to pay for the cleanup of illegally dumped California waste tires. Local governments, special districts, qualifying tribes, and joint powers authorities are eligible. Small changes to the eligibility and criteria include a performance objective requirement for the number of tires to be collected. Estimated cost per tire will be part of the ranking. Also, a detailed budget justification required for the budget document. Award maximums are $100,000 for individual applicants and $250,000 for regional. Staff anticipates posting the notice of funds available in March with applications due in April, and awards anticipated to be announced in August 2026. We are also announcing local government waste tire enforcement grant awards to support local inspections and enforcement of waste tire generators. Let's watch a quick video of the program.
Massive tire fires burning for months or even years led California to track the safe management of its waste tires.
We used to see a lot of illegal dumping of trash and tires.
Across the state, more local governments are taking the lead to protect their communities.
If they're properly stored, there's less of a hazard.
With up to $650,000 in annual funding, CalRecycle's local government waste tire enforcement grant program covers costs for things like program staff, administration, equipment, and travel to support local oversight of neighborhood businesses.
Any facility that generates waste tires, whether it be airports, golf courses, mechanic shop.
Local inspectors ensure local businesses meet state standards for safe hauling, tire storage, disposal, and record keeping.
They take time to really educate the business owners.
They're ensuring the number of tires going into the facility or the number of tires going out.
State funding coupled with CalRecycle training and support helped more than 30 communities take control of their waste tire inspection programs.
I think that just the fact that we're out there doing these inspections really helps out our communities.
Protecting Californians, building trust with local businesses, and advancing California's circular waste-free future.
Today, we are announcing $5.4 million for 28 grantees across the state. You can find more details on the grant recipients linked in today's agenda. Next, we're announcing $37.3 million in the Beverage Container Redemption Innovation Grant Program awards for 18 recycling centers. Funds will support startup costs for projects including new recycling centers, mobile recycling, reverse vending machines, and bag drop programs. The goal of the program is to make it easier and convenient for Californians to cash in their beverage containers. More details and a list of grantees is linked in today's agenda. And I got one more. Next, we have one reusable beverage container infrastructure grant program applicant receiving $4.8 million. This program helps businesses set up a system to reuse glass beverage containers and keep them out of landfills. Glass can be repeatedly recycled without losing quality, so it's an important part of California's circular economy. Sign up for CalRecycle's grant email updates for notifications about new and awarded grants. Now I'll hand it off to my colleague, Scott Beckner.
Thank you, Lauren. First, so today I've got two loan announcements, both within our Recycling Market Development Zone or RMDZ program. First, we have a $400,000 loan approval for NEV LLC based in Santa Maria. NEV specializes in turning recycled agricultural film and plastics into pellets for new molded plastic products. And loan funds will help buy equipment, fund leasehold improvements, support installation costs, and provide working capital. And then next up, we have a $976,000 RMDZ loan, which has been approved for Keon Greenup LLC, a recycling manufacturer specializing in nylon carpet fibers. That's nylon 6 and nylon 6/6. The Anaheim-based company will process these materials into plastic pellets used to make molded products such as automotive parts. Loan funds will help cover equipment, leasehold improvements, refinancing of onerous debt, and provide working capital. Both of these loans were approved by Deputy Director Michelle Martin, and thank you, and I'll go ahead and hand it off to Jessica.
Thank you so much, Scott. Do we have any public comments in the room? No? We don't have any.
We have
We have
one,
one,
Jessica.
Jessica.
Okay, thank you.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello, my name is Joanne Brash. I'm Director of Advocacy for the California Product Stewardship Council. We were the sponsors of SB 707, and we have a few questions and comments regarding the textile PRO applications. First, I want to take a moment and thank all three applicants. It's very obvious that a lot of work and a lot of hard work went into these applications. I also want to thank our task force and the multiple coalitions that have included CPSC in the deliberation. It really takes a village to understand these complex applications, especially in the context of what we consider a successful program. CPSC plans on submitting a more detailed written comment letter, and we do plan on endorsing one, but we have a few questions that have come up in our multiple coalition meetings that maybe would help guide our positioning. So our first question is, does the federal IRS filing need to be submitted for the PRO applicants prior to December 31st? And I can ask all three if it's easier. Second question, does the full board with the diversity requirements need to be seated by December 31st? And the third question, if one of the three is conditionally approved and required to update either the structure of the governance or bylaws, what is an appropriate time to expect those changes before certification? And then lastly, before we go on, I just also want to take a moment to thank the RMDZ program. They've provided some technical assistance in the last few months, and they really see the value in textiles in our community. And this technical assistance has helped situate some counties to build some key infrastructure and also to expand processing capacity. So I just want to take a moment to thank them as well before we go into the answers. Thank you.
And thank you so much for your questions and your comments overall. I'm gonna, in a second, turn it over to Michelle. I don't know that we have responses to many of those at this time. We are bound by statute in making our selections, so we're using the information that's in statute, which, as you know, is not all that robust as far as what those criteria are for selecting. I mean, there's criteria, but it doesn't go into some of the details. So I'll turn it to Michelle, but I think for some of these questions, we're gonna have to do some analysis internally and get back to you.
Yeah, Zoe's correct. I think that we'll need to take those considerations back to the team and discuss them a bit. It may be that we conditionally approve a PRO with maybe some of those contingencies in mind. So, but thank you for those questions, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Michelin. I'm the president and CEO for the California Retailers Association and also the president of the Textile Renewal Alliance, which is a federally cited 501c3. So we are all official now. And really just wanted to reiterate our thanks to CalRecycle for the process of the PRO application. I have not done this before, so it was not as painful as I thought it would be, but really wanted to reiterate that, one of the reasons why CRA is so committed to this is because we are California based. We work up and down the state in every county. Retail is everywhere in California. and really have appreciated our working relationship with CPSC in really wanting to see this be implemented. I think this is a huge task. There's going to be a lot of grace involved in terms of making sure that it can be workable. And really, I am personally committed to seeing this happen because I think it is so important. Joanne and I are having conversations. We're having conversations with other stakeholders about really, regardless if we're chosen or not, CRA is here to be a partner in making sure that this is implemented in the way I think that the sponsors wanted to see it implemented, the governor wants to see it implemented, and CalRecycle. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate your engagement.
We have two people in line waiting on Zoom. First, let's go to Heidi Sanborn for her public comment. I'm going to ask you to unmute and go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm Heidi Sanborn with the National Stewardship Action Council. Just wanted to comment briefly on the textiles and then on the SB 54 regulations. On textiles, we just are really impressed with the detail that went into at least two of the applications, had a lot of detail. And I just want to remind everybody how important it is to protect our existing infrastructure and grow it and really promote repair first. There's a lot of clothes going overseas that just need repair here in the US, and they can go back out and help people, buy clothes at a much more affordable price than going out and buy brand new. So that's just something I wanted to highlight. And we look forward to seeing who gets selected March 1st. And then on the SB 54 regulations, we have a working group on both of these topics, actually. And on SB 54, we're very grateful that whoever made the decision to revisit the categorical exclusions did so. And we think that there's a great improvement that was made on that section. However, there's still confusing language. And we did submit a comment to this, and we've raised this before, but there's federal rules on food safety that are very important to follow, and I'm not sure the expertise is in CalRecycle to override some of those. And I just want to highlight the importance of making sure you've got the proper expertise on staff to make the decisions that are going to have to be made there. And really, I think that'll do it for now. So thank you very much, and I hope you all had a lovely Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Heidi. Appreciate your comments.
Next, we have Patrick Gibbs with his hand up on Zoom. I'm going to ask you to unmute and go ahead with your comment.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick Gibbs. I'm representing Landbill USA. We are one of the 3 applicants, of course, that are published. Thank you, Heidi, for your great comments, and Rachel also. Thank you for your comments, and Joanne for your questions. What we want to do is just take this opportunity to really thank everybody and to say how grateful and how honored we are to be considered for the pro of what's going to be the most comprehensive textiles EPR operation ever. And now that there's been some significant time for people to absorb and to read these applications, we also wanted to take the opportunity to really congratulate everybody that worked on this bill. It's the task force headed by the CPSC and all the support groups. As we were building our sponsorship groups throughout this past year, we realized what a real collaborative effort this all was, and how many people have worked on it. So thank you really for everybody who are engaged in formulating this great legislation. It's just an incredible work of art. Regarding Landbill USA, with our extensive background in managing 42 pros around the world and our very specific expertise in managing and developing a textiles pro in the Netherlands, it puts us in a unique position to do the same in California. We're very grateful to be considered for this game-changing position. And I want them to add, if we're chosen to be the pro, We're going to seek to immediately expand our producer board of the Pro to include up to 4 large international producers of covered materials. So we'd like to invite any interested parties that fit that criteria to reach out to us and to have a conversation about that. And again, in closing, I just want to thank you again for considering Landbill USA for this critical responsibility. So thanks to everyone, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate your comments.
My pleasure.
We have one more person with their hand up on Zoom, iPhone 21. I'm going to ask you to unmute and go ahead with your comment.
Hi, sorry. My name is Miriam Gordon, and I'm with the Story of Stuff project. My question is about the reusable beverage container grant program. We're excited to see a grant made to Ravino for close to $5 million for bottle washer processor program. But the overall money allocated for this grant program is close to $24 million. So I guess what I'm wondering is what happens, what does the future look like for getting this funding out? And what's the schedule? Is there going to be another grant round announced? Thank you.
Thanks, Miriam. Appreciate the question. And we would have loved to have been able to get out all 24 million had we been able. As many are aware, the ways in which program or projects could be eligible was specific to a lot of the requirements in the beverage container recycling program. And also much of the criteria in the application was needed to demonstrate ongoing sustainable success of the program. So we had hoped to get out more, but we're really excited that we're able to fund one at this time. And I'm going to turn it over to Michelle to talk a little bit about next steps. As you're probably aware, some of this funding does expire, and I do believe this is one of the pots of money that does.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were able to push out one cycle for this particular grant program, but the remaining allocation will be reverting back to the fund.
One thing that I'll add is with new grant programs, it can be challenging for applicants to come in successfully given the state criteria and those sorts of things. But we're really excited that we were able to fund this one because our hope is that we can demonstrate success and be able to show what's possible in California, and that may open up funding opportunities down the line. So looking forward to staying engaged and in touch on this program in hopes that we'll be able to see it expand throughout the state.
Thank you, everyone. Those are all the comments we have for now. Please raise your hand in Zoom or call in now if you have comments on the upcoming agenda items, including product stewardship updates, contract updates, solid waste disposal and co-disposal site cleanup program announcements, and facility and waiver updates. Product Stewardship Branch Chief Karen Kafetz joins us now with program updates.
Thanks, Jessica. All right. First up, I have some updates on our dealer cooperatives program. First, on January 21st, 2026, Circular CRV Association submitted its first quarterly report to CalRecycle, describing its redemption and operational activities from October 1st through December 31st. CalRecycle is currently reviewing whether the report is complete. Additionally, on January 26th, Circular CRV Association notified CalRecycle that its stewardship plan became fully operational in convenience zones in Santa Rosa, and on February 3rd became fully operational in additional convenience zones in Gualala and Stockton. Finally, on January 29th, Circular CRV Association notified CalRecycle of changes to its approved stewardship plan, including changes to its dealer members, redemption sites, and processors. These changes do not require CalRecycle approval. Visit CalRecycle's Dealer Cooperative webpage and subscribe to the Beverage Container Recycling Program General Information email list for updates. Next, I'll move to some updates on the Pharmaceuticals and Sharps program. On January 26th, CalRecycle received notification that the Drug Take-Back Solutions Foundation is terminating its stewardship plans for covered drugs and home-generated Sharps waste effective June 30, 2026. Foundation is one of 2 program operators implementing covered drugs and home-generated Sharps waste stewardship programs in the state, so there will continue to be operational programs for these materials. Foundation must continue to operate its stewardship plans for covered drugs and home-generated Sharps waste in accordance with statute, regulations, and its approved plans, respectively, until its termination date. Questions specific to how program participants or residents utilizing Foundation's programs may be impacted should be directed to the Foundation, info@takebackfoundation.org. Additionally, Foundation rescinded the proposed changes to its covered drug stewardship plan. CalRecycle has discontinued its review of the proposed changes. For more information on these updates, see the link in today's agenda. Moving to paint stewardship, on January 23rd, CalRecycle received Paint Care's 2026 California Program Plan Review Letter. Paint Care's letter, fulfilling their statutory requirement to review their plan and determine if changes are necessary, informs CalRecycle that no amendments to its stewardship plan are needed at this time. The letter is under review. CalRecycle may disapprove Paint Care's determination within 30 days if the department concludes that Paint Care cannot implement the objectives of the chapter without amending its stewardship plan. CalRecycle will present the director's determination on a future monthly public meeting agenda. You can find Paint Care's letter in the public notice linked in today's agenda. My last update is on our carpet stewardship program. On January 23rd, CalRecycle disapproved CARE's differential assessments plan amendment. The carpet stewardship organization must resubmit its revised differential assessments plan amendment by March 24th. You can find the notice of disapproval and CARE's plan amendment in the public notice linked in today's agenda. And now I'll hand it off to Division of Materials Management and Local Assistance Deputy Director Kara Morgan.
Thanks, Karen. This month, we have one waste tire contract update to share today. And our Senior Waste Management Engineer, Mustafa Botanj, joins us with this update. Mus, hi.
Oh, that's better. Good morning. This item is regarding the proposed scope of work for the assessment of the potential 6 ppdq pollution risk from rubberized asphalt pavement. CalRecycle will contract with the University of California Pavement Research Center to conduct this work for an amount not to exceed $750,000. And when 6 ppd, which is a chemical used to protect the tire from degradation, is exposed to ozone, in air, it reacts and turns into 6 ppdq. 6 ppdq is a chemical of a concern, as it has been shown to have a toxic effect on a range of species, with particular concern for coho salmon mortality. This contract will assess the risk of both 6 ppdq and selected metals leaching from rubberized asphalt mixes in road surfaces. The research center will assess the risk by conducting a laboratory scale experimental investigation and simulation to evaluate the release of 6 ppdq and selected metals from rubberized asphalt pavement mixes. The contract is anticipated to begin around May of this year, and it will be around 2 years, and it will end on June 30th of 2028. This item is delegated to the MMLA Deputy Director Kara Morgan, and she approved the item. Back to you, Kara.
Moose, thank you very much. I
Thank you so
appreciate it. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark DeBee at this point.
Thanks, Kara. I wanted to announce that I've recently approved the Rotelli burn dump remediation project in Tuolumne County, which was supported by the adoption of a mitigated negative declaration. The project includes the removal of burn dump material from 2 ephemeral drainages and the consolidation and capping of burn dump materials away from the drainages, along with related drainage and fencing improvements. The project costs are estimated to be $1.277 million. Work is anticipated this summer after all of the additional approvals and permits are finalized. Now I would like to call your attention to the Solid Waste Permit Waivers Program Explainer, and then that will be followed by the February 2026 updates from the Program Manager, Robert Carlson.
To keep Californians healthy and protect our land, food, water, and air, CalRecycle and local enforcement agencies work together. Local enforcement agencies get community input, process permit applications, conduct inspections, and make sure solid waste facilities follow the law. CalRecycle verifies that permits for solid waste facilities, including landfills and compost sites, comply with state standards and inspections. Agreeing with the LEA that a permit is ready to be issued is known as concurring. Additionally, CalRecycle reviews approved emergency waivers and can modify, limit, or end them. Emergency waivers temporarily modify solid waste facility permits for up to 120 days and may be extended, providing relief for facility operators during disasters, and they're approved by local enforcement agencies. For waste tire facilities, CalRecycle issues and enforces waste tire facility permits to make sure tires are stored and processed safely. Scan this QR code or visit CalRecycle's website for more detailed information.
Since the January monthly public meeting, the department has concurred with the LEA's issuance of the following proposed solid waste facilities permits. For Orange County, Prima Desecha Landfill. On January 30th, 2026, the department concurred with the LEA's issuance of the modified solid waste facilities permit. Action was needed by the department by February 16th, 2026. Continuing on the agenda, for Ventura County, Simi Valley Landfill and Recycling Center. This is a modified solid waste facilities permit. Action is needed by the department by March 6th, 2026. For the City of San Jose, Valley Recycling 2. This is a new solid waste facilities permit. Action is needed by the department by March 7th, 2026.
And I understand we don't have any new items since the agenda was set. I just wanted to recognize that we do have Robert Carlson in person. He didn't phone it in. So we've transitioned now. Paulina Lawrence retired, and the managers for the sections have stepped in and kept things running until we could bring Robert in. So the new manager.
Okay, now to public comments. Wait, am I supposed to? Now on to public comments. Do we have any in the room? Maybe that caller wants to call back in.
We don't have any public comments on Zoom right now.
Well, that's a wrap for February. Thank you all for joining today. We'll post the meeting recording in English and Spanish on our YouTube channel in the next few days. Thanks for joining, and we will see you in March.